and it might be a little cringy, but this will be put at the end, so if you're watching, you deserve to know.
It's making life musical, hey.
The other day I was brainstorming different ideas that I could make videos on, and I was getting on my computer and I found this old file that said random tuba playing, and in that file was a lot of me playing the tuba from high school from a long time ago, and I didn't click on it because I specifically thought this would make a cool video. I've spent the last 3 years in high school majoring in music, so my question is there a noticeable difference in what I've done? Will I be able to tell that the stuff I did in high school and the stuff that I did in college sound a lot better, or was it not worth it at all? And I know several people who are in high school or middle school watch my videos, and maybe they're thinking, well, do I want to become a music major? Is it worth it? Am I gonna become better? And that's kind of what I'm gonna try to answer in this video. So usually I would have a better setup and I would have it moved over in my regular spot, but this is on my big computer, so I didn't want to move it all over here because it's a lot of files to go through. But I did want to start off with a file that says Ben both Allstate Tuesday. So I don't really remember this, but I'm assuming it's from one of my years in high school working on both of my high school Allstate, lyrical and technical. And Allstate was a huge thing for me in high school because if you're not doing Allstate as a tuba player, you don't really have much to work on, because whether we like it or not, the music we play in band is not fun. You have to find other ways to entertain yourself. So I'm gonna click on this and hopefully it's not too bad. And before I even begin, this is in my old band room. I don't know what's going on with my hair. It doesn't look that great, but maybe I sound okay. I still use that tuba. There's not really anything going on in this. Like, I'm assuming this is the lyrical, but it's not very, like, it doesn't have much going on. And I don't think I'm taking big enough breaths. I feel like now I take bigger breaths, or at least I like to think that I do. So let's fast forward a little bit and get to the other etude. Okay, yeah, this sounds familiar to me actually. This is definitely the technical. Because I always liked working the technical better than the lyrical, and I would spend a lot more time on the technical. Definitely some like fracking and some note accuracy problems. And then when I get to the da-na-na-na-na-na, it sounds like I'm having more fun with it because it's technical, so it sounds more lyrical than the lyrical part, which is something that I came into college knowing I needed to work on, and I think I've gotten better at it. The thing with me in Allstate stuff is I always did pretty good. You know, I mean, I made first chair red band 2 years in a row, and I enjoy doing that kind of thing, but I just feel like I didn't push myself to a level beyond just like a good tuba, because I want to be a good musician, not just a good tuba player, because in a high school level, if you're a good tuba player, that really doesn't mean much. Moving on from that, I have one, it says Haddad 1 Tuesday, and it looks like it was around the same area. It's in my old band room. I don't exactly remember when I did the Haddad though, so this could either be in my junior or my senior year. With an electronic recording. Yeah, and then there's the kind of accuracy problems. I like this song. I think it's pretty good. If I was gonna do this now, I definitely wouldn't be facing my bell towards a wall like that, because it would always sound better facing towards the bigger room. That's just how the tuba works. That's how any instrument works. I feel like my sustain is pretty good. Sitting here, maybe tone wasn't great, but my sustain is not bumpy, and I feel like I have a problem with bumping now. I've talked about that in previous videos. I'm gonna jump to the end a little bit. And I think if I was gonna do this now, lighter tongue and not da 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 da, it'd be ta 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 ta. Even though it needs to be short, doesn't have to be that short and that gross sounding. And then the ending is a little bit fracky. And I remember that was a high note for me whenever I worked on this. That was like a little bit of a stretch for me. Whereas now, I mean, I'm playing high stuff all the time. I mean, that sounds good. It's just, you know, I can do more. For this next one, we won't watch all of it, but I did want to point it out because it's one of my proudest achievements in high school. For our all-state solo festival, I learned Carnival of Venice for tuba, and I was super proud of it. It sounded really solid, and this is one of my best recordings of it. It's actually the one that I have on my YouTube channel. I think I got it sounding really good. For my actual performance of it, it wasn't my best performance, but it was still a good performance. It's just one of those things where it's like, I mean, what can you do? There's other better players, and the people judging me were 2 trumpet players, so they think that it sounds different on a tuba and it should be actually played on trumpet, and it's just difficult, and that's kind of stuff that you always have to deal with. Terrible video quality, because I think we were recorded on like this old Zoom device that didn't even have like HD, but it's at some church in my hometown. I just really like this song. I remember spending hours and hours on this music. I had a class specifically for practicing, and it was called instrumental music, and that would be an hour and a half of my day, and then every single day I would go home and practice another hour, and that was in high school, which I feel like, you know, that's not what a lot of kids spend their times doing in high school. Let's skip to the end because that's a really fun part. My valves are so noisy. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, I definitely feel like I can play this better now. I've got a better understanding of what happens musically. I was so proud of myself for learning this, and I have not felt that proud on a song since this moment. So it's one of those things where it's like, I'm waiting for that next piece to come around where I'm like, wow. That's my favorite part. That's impressive. I mean, I feel like, for what I was at that point. If you want to watch all that, it's on my YouTube. You can check it out. But now, just for some context, let's move into my freshman year of college. I entered into the Surtech Young Artist Competition, and I actually was a finalist in it. I didn't get top 3, but I was in the top 5, which is, I mean, that's awesome. I think better tone quality would have definitely happened out. Toe, 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 you know. The fact that I'm tapping my toe, I know now is bad, but it was a habit that I was in really bad at the time. I could do more with that phrase now. The ba 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 ba. I mean, that's just, nothing's happening in that piece. That's a little bit of a crack there. I think I submitted this to the finalists and I still made it with that mistake. Okay, and before that continues, that was actually my lowest note that I've ever played at that point on tuba. Not like all, but like in a piece of music, that is my lowest note, and it was hard for me to do that. I think it's like a pedal C, and now I feel like I'm doing stuff way below that because I've been working in books for that specifically, and I never had done that before. So that's one thing, is my low range has really expanded. And then if we skip to the end a little bit, it gets a little bit more technical, and obviously I like that stuff. Okay, and just as a little bonus clip, there's one that's DSCF1238. I think I have an idea what this is, and it might be a little cringy, but this will be put at the end, so if you're watching, you deserve to know. That's my little tuba corner. I had like posters put up and everything, just to make it look, you know, like, you know, artsy, because I was making a video. I don't know. I still did YouTube back then, so it was, I was thinking about what the best corner would be in my room. I think this is fun. This is fun. I think this is actually a medley that I made. When I was a senior, I went and performed like at farmers markets and stuff just to make money. And this might just be me practicing for that. Because, I mean, why not? I always love the If I Only Had a Brain on tuba. I think that is the best sounding for the tuba, just because it's so, you know, like, tuba players, they need a brain every now and then. And that wraps up this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. It was very different. I do think that I've improved a lot in some ways, and then maybe not so much in other ways. If you have any thoughts, comment them down below. And this week's shout out goes to Emma Lindsay. She says, last week and a half The week before was band camp for us, and my section leader accidentally stepped on my foot while we were marching backwards. Thank you for commenting. That sounds very painful. If you want to shout out, go follow me on Instagram and comment down below. That is all that I have for you guys in this one. Be sure to come back next week for another video. Thanks for watching the video. Go make life musical, and I'll see you in the next one.
It's making life musical.